Hi everyone, and welcome to On the Move. This is Brandis Montgomery. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and the owner of On the Move Massage and Physical Therapy in Metro Atlanta. And I provide mobile treatments to anyone looking for physical therapy services and strength and conditioning and injury prevention at their homes or in their gyms, just simply for convenience and the ability to provide them one-on-one care so they get better faster and they see the results that they're looking for. And this informational time that I provide for you all is what I love the best. I love being able to educate people so that they understand what it is that maybe they're going through pain-wise, or what can they do to help better their function and their mobility and get out of pain. So with that being said, today we're going to talk about something that doesn't have to do with pain, but has to do with progression for those that are jumping athletes. And you don't have to be like a high jumper or a long jumper to be a jumping athlete. There are lots of sports where we jump, including volleyball, basketball, even in like lacrosse, for example, we jump at times. Football, we jump at times. So there are reasons why you would want to have a better jumping ability, as well as the height of your jump, or maybe the intensity of which you jump with. So we're reaching out to all of you athletes that this affects. So one thing that we want to look at when we're talking about increasing our vertical height or our power behind our jump is increasing the strength that we have and the muscles that we need to use when we do jump. And it's important to think about not only just strengthening the muscles, our leg muscles, for example, that we need to jump, but we also use our core and we use our arms, our back muscles. All of these things help us jump. And so we want to think about the whole picture when we are going into our training sessions for increasing our vertical height. And we also want to look at the endurance that we might need in jumping. Typically, you don't just jump one time and you're done. Most sports, we are jumping throughout the sport over and over and over again. So we want to increase endurance in our muscles, which means that we want to increase repetitions when we are strengthening these muscles. So we wouldn't want to do, like, let's say, a set of 3 heavy back squats. We would want to do a set of 12 or 15, maybe moderate back squats, so that we're helping the muscles to strengthen, but they're also improving in endurance to last us a longer time. Another thing we want to look at when we're talking about strengthening for our jump is focus on our glute strength. So our glutes are our buttock muscles. Those are the muscles that help us elevate up into the air. And the more that we know how to use those muscles when we're jumping, we can get a lot more power. Our buttock muscles are typically big, they're strong, they're explosive. And so we want to not only strengthen these muscles, but learn how to use them when we're jumping so that we can get more power. And then there's lastly just general lower extremity stability. So not just strengthening the entire leg, but creating stability around the joints. So this would be more of like activities where we're looking at ways to balance. Maybe we're in a balanced position, but we're also strengthening by maybe doing like a single leg squat or something to increase stability around the joints. So a few examples of exercises that are great for jumping that improve our strength would be like a leg press machine. I prefer the ones where you sit essentially on the ground with your legs up in the air and press up into the air, only because the setup is a little bit better. When you're sitting upright and pressing in front of you, it's just a little bit harder to get like the right angle, get the right muscles firing, because your knees are like crunched to your chest. So it's a little more awkward. But anyway, that you have a leg press machine is a great exercise to start gaining some of that power and strength that you need. And then there's always a back rack squat. So we're putting that barbell behind us across our upper traps, and then doing our squats in that position, so that we help, not only are we gaining strength in the whole lower leg, but we're really getting those glutes to fire to help us power back up with the squat, and that's what we need when we're jumping. Then we have the single leg squat, which I mentioned earlier. A great way to start this, because they are very challenging and you want to make sure your form is really good so that you don't injure something else like a knee. So a great way to start practicing the strength is to practice squatting to a bench or a seat, so that you can focus on your form and not falling. So you know that there's a chair behind you for you to land on, and then practice standing back up with 2 feet if you have to, and kind of progression from there. And then lastly, another great strengthening exercise is sidestepping with a resistance band, so that we're getting those hip muscles involved, and we're using resistance so that we really start to fire those muscles that we need for jumping. And then let's talk about how do we build power for jumping. So power is when we're using strength or force over time. So we want, of course, when we're jumping, we want that time to be very quick and very short. And the best way that we do that is to learn how to explode with force. So to improve power, we need to use those explosive movements with exercises like plyometrics. So we're going to focus on increased weight that you can do a few reps, and then you push the weight quickly with a force. So we also want to remember that these need to be in a controlled manner so that we're not injuring something. But when we're working on power, we want to work to fatigue. So this is where we're going to work on sets that are heavy, but they're controlled with good form. So with these exercises, we focus on the contraction of the muscle and the technique more so than just pounding out reps like we would when we're working on our endurance for strength. So a few examples of how we work on plyometric power is like a jumping squat. So we're going down into a squat, we're jumping up. We can do box jumps where we're sitting on the ground and jumping onto a box. And then you can, of course, always increase your height of the box so that you have to jump higher, more power. We can look at a broad jump where we're just standing in place and we're getting our arm swing way back and we're just jumping as far out as we can, like a long jump would look. Or we can look at single leg hops, like either a forward hop on one leg or a lateral hop, to start working on a little bit of that power that we need for jumping. To increase your vertical jump, we want to increase both the strength and the power. So that's how we get higher in a vertical jump. And if we're trying to maximize how high we can jump, so example, in volleyball, we're trying to get as high as we can to come down on the ball to kill it. If it's basketball, maybe you're trying to get a vertical jump so that you can dunk. If it's in football, maybe we're trying to jump so that we can intercept the ball as high as possible. So there are different reasons why we want to increase our strength and our power for our vertical jump, our height. There's research that shows if you can use a one-step approach, you're going to get more power because you can kind of get your arm swing in there with that step to gain power through your glutes. However, sometimes when you're doing vertical jumps, they don't allow that. It's a standing jump from stationary position. And in that case, you want to just use your arm swing as best you can to gain as much power as you can, momentum going upward. And if you're not really sure where to start with practicing these ideas that we've discussed, I can certainly help anyone with that. And a lot of times, scenarios like this, where we're working on strength and power for jumping, is a matter of getting a good program and knowing where to go with that program so that you can, progress forward on your own. So it wouldn't be something necessarily that we would have to do every day or every week, but maybe weekly we work together to develop a few exercises that you can do that week, and then the next week we assess those. Are they where we need to be? Do we need to progress things? What could we add? What could we change? So that's what that would look like working with me. And if you would like more information on increasing your vertical jump or endurance or power, then please reach out to me on my website. It's onthemovempt.com, and I would be happy to help. Everyone have a great day.